Let's do our 2025-26 NFL Super Bowl preview. Seahawks, Patriots picks, key stats, predictions, and more. Previewing it. Obviously, we know it's in Santa Clara. Seahawks and Patriots. So excited for this game. The Seahawks this year went 14-3. They were number one on ESPN's Football Power Index, obviously coached by former defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens under John Harbaugh, Mike Macdonald. They only lost their 3 combined losses by 9 total points this year. Not only that, you could definitely argue that the Seahawks played in the toughest division in football, with all 3 of them, the 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams, all making the playoffs and having very, very similar records. But yet the Seahawks, 14-3, atop the NFC West. How did it start? It all started when team owner Jody Allen moved on from Pete Carroll after the 2023 season. That was a big deal. Not only did he do that, but then he traded Geno Smith in the offseason. Geno Smith was traded for a 3rd-round pick, which literally turned into Jalen Milroe. So basically, they traded Geno Smith for their backup quarterback, went out and signed Sam Darnold, coming out of Minnesota. Sam Darnold had just previously led the Minnesota Vikings to a 14-3 season before losing in the first round to the Los Angeles Rams. Tough loss. They also lost the second last game of the season to the Lions that would have won them the division. The Vikings elected to move forward with their rookie quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, and let Sam Darnold walk. What I do think is the funniest part about all of this is that Geno Smith technically was signed to more annual money per season compared to Sam Darnold. Geno Smith signed a 2-year, $90 million contract with the Las Vegas Raiders after getting traded, making $45 million a year, while Sam Darnold signed a 3-year, $100 million deal. $12 million less annually than Geno Smith. And if you want to talk about who is the better quarterback this year, it really isn't close. Geno Smith led the Raiders to the number 1 pick, where Sam Darnold led them to the number 1 seed in the NFC. But we can't talk about Mike Macdonald and this Seahawks team without talking about their defense. Because, man, this defense right here that you are looking at, of DeMarcus Lawrence, who they brought in from Dallas, Leonard Williams, who was brought in from the Jets and then the Giants, Byron Murphy, drafted to the team, Derek Hall, I believe drafted, Ernest Jones, former middle linebacker for the Rams, went in division over to the Seahawks, Devon Witherspoon, drafted with the Broncos pick from the Russell Wilson trade, Josh Jobe, Julian Love, Kobe Bryant, Nicky Manwari, all drafted by this defense. That's not even talking about guys like Boye Mafe, who's been there, Jaron Reed, who's been there, Nicky Manwari being a backup cornerback as well. I mean, this team is loaded front to back. I don't even see Tariq Woolen's name on here, and I know for a fact Tariq Woolen is a starting cornerback on this team that is, 4th round or 6th round pick turned stud. They have arguably the best special teams unit in all of football as well, between Jason Myers, who is this season's leading scorer in terms of overall points, Michael Dixon, who was an all-pro punter this season for the Seahawks, arguably looked as the best punter in football, and their returner. They trade a 4th and a 6th round pick halfway through the season for Rashid Shaheed, who's had a couple incredible moments so far, and I think his best times with the Seahawks are still yet to come. I've seen too many edits of people comparing him to Devin Hester and the way he runs and returns the ball. Shaheed is nice. I don't know if he's no Devin Hester. Offensively, Offensive Player of the Year, Jackson Smith-Njigba. This team ran a 2 running back scheme all season long with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Unfortunately, Zach Charbonnet did go down with injury, so now they are relying on undrafted rookie George Holani as the backup running back in Seattle. One of the coolest stories of this whole season is the NFC Championship being between the Rams and the Seahawks. Wide receiver 2, Cooper Kupp, being in that game. The Rams let go Cooper Kupp this offseason to bring in Davante Adams. Davante Adams, by the way, was no slouch, led the NFL in touchdown receptions this season. But teams around the league were warned by the LA Rams that Cooper Kupp was not going to be healthy enough to play football in the next couple of years. Well, Cooper Kupp played every single game this season. Cooper Kupp played all 16 of 17 games this season. Now, he only had 600 yards and 2 touchdowns, but had a crucial catch in that Rams game that led to them to win the NFC Championship. Wide receiver 2, Cooper Kupp, acquired in the offseason. Wide receiver 3, Rashid Shaheed, acquired in the trade deadline. You got guys like A.J. Barner, who is a fantastic red zone threat, who has been used so well, and his chemistry with Sam Darnold has been so good. They have former first-round pick Greg Zabel. Greg Zabel, they will love Greg Zabel over there in Seattle. Probably the most questionable guy in their whole team is number right here, their right guard, Anthony Bradford. That's definitely a matchup to look for, is the interior line of the Seattle Seahawks against the interior defensive line in Milton Williams, Tonga, and other Patriots D linemen. But man, this Seattle team was built so well. So well front to back. I think Mike McDonald and the rest of the Seahawks front office has done such an incredible job building that team. Now let's go and talk about the Patriots side. Patriots, this was Drake May's first full season as a starter. If you guys remember, technically they ran out, I believe it was Jacoby Brissett for the first half of his rookie year. Drake May came in about 5 games in. Drake May, in just his first year starting, had an MVP caliber season. Actually only finished 1 vote behind Matthew Stafford for the MVP in really his first year starting. Their running back room, I think a lot of people expected second-round rookie Travion Henderson to take over the backfield, but Ramondre Stevenson has continued to come in and be very productive in the run, pass, blocking, everything a running back needs. We know Stevenson is a former fumbling guy, right? He was always a big fumble in crucial moments. You got to see if that trend continues in the Super Bowl. But Ramondre Stevenson has earned his way to the running back 1 position. Now, the biggest question mark going into this season with the Patriots was this wide receiver room. They brought in Stephon Diggs from Houston. They brought in Mac Hollins from Buffalo. They really didn't make any big draft decisions. They drafted Efton Chisholm, Kyle Williams, but they relied on former 6th-round pick Kayshon Boutte and former 2nd-round pick Pop Douglas, along with Diggs and Mac Hollins. Well, when you look at their statistics, receiving, I would say they did a pretty damn good job this year, huh? I would say that wide receiver room did a pretty good job this season. Specifically, Stephon Diggs was so good, a topping 1,000 receiving yards on the year and 4 touchdowns. Kayshon Boutte may not have had the greatest statistical year, but boy, has he had the playoff moments, specifically that one-handed catch against Derek Stingley in the Houston game. And he also is second on the team in touchdowns with 6 touchdowns on the season. Mac Hollins continues to be a great run blocker on the outside, solid hands, big-time target. Drake May tends to find him 1 to 2 times a game for big plays over the middle. Sneaky MVP of this offense, though, has to go to Hunter Henry. 60 catches this season on 87 targets, 768 yards, and 7 touchdowns for tight end Hunter Henry. You know, Hunter Henry has bounced around a couple different quarterbacks now in his time, obviously starting with the Chargers, then going to the Patriots. Hunter Henry by far having his most productive season this season and going into the playoffs. You got backup tight end Austin Hooper, who's been there before. You got good veteran guys like Antonio Gibson. Got to give a lot of credit to their offensive line this year. They spent the 4th overall pick, where a lot of people, by the way, were expecting Travis Hunter to be the pick for the Patriots. He goes 2 picks ahead with the Browns trading back and the Jaguars trading up. They draft Will Campbell as their starting left tackle. Now, Will Campbell, I would say, has definitely struggled a little bit in the playoffs. But goddamn, he had an incredible season. Did not allow a sack, I believe, from week 2 until week 15 this year. Very impressive stuff from rookie left tackle. Very interested to see how he plays against DeMarcus Lawrence with that edge matchup. But the real MVP of the New England Patriots this season, specifically come playoff time, has to be this defense. I mean, between Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis as their corners, making big-time plays in big-time moments. K'Lavon Chaisson, who's about to get paid this offseason. Robert Spillane at the middle linebacker position. Christian Ellis, who has been so good in that AFC Championship game against his brother on Denver. Marcus Jones as the nickelback, Mr. Do-It-All, was catching passes for the Patriots in Week 1 of last season. And their front four, which has been unstoppable in this playoff run, specifically in that Chargers game. They forced C.J. Stroud to make a couple of pressure throws. We saw Jarrett Stidham in the snow game not be able to do anything. Christian Barmore, Chris Tonga, Milton Williams, and Harold Landry. And that's not even mentioning Corey Durden. These guys are studs up front. I really think this interior line between Milton Williams and Chris Tonga against the interior line of Greg Zabel and Anthony Bradford is going to be a key matchup to watch in the Super Bowl. If I had to give predictions on, is this going to be a more defensive game, scoring game, what do I expect? I expect this game to be low scoring, specifically in the beginning, the first half. I don't expect this game to be very high scoring in the first half. I could very much see a Sam Darnold or Drake May making a crucial, a one-time bad throw early on in this game. With Drake May's inexperience in big-time, moments like this, and then obviously Sam Darnold with his long backup career and his time with the Jets, and then the Niners, and then the Vikings, and the Panthers even, right? So I do think that one of these two quarterbacks, if not both of them, are going to make a couple mistakes early on, and that might lead to a couple quick 3-and-out drives for, say, the Patriots, or bad field positioning for the Seattle Seahawks. I love both quarterbacks. I think they both incredibly deserve to be here. Would not be surprised to see either one of them enter the end zone with their legs, too. I know that, Kenneth Walker was a great red zone threat in that Rams game, and Ramondre and Henderson have been very good in the red zone, but I would not be surprised to see Sam Darnold or Drake May need to use their legs a lot in this game, specifically evading the pressure from Demarcus Lawrence and Cleveon Chason and making plays happen downfield. If I had to give a guaranteed touchdown, one guy I think is guaranteed to score a touchdown in this game, I really think we're going to get a second half JSN touchdown. I do. I think Seattle's the better team. I could very much see JSN getting them down the field early on in this game, but it not leading to a JSN touchdown. For example, maybe A.J. Barner sneaks in the back. Maybe they hit a nice deep shot to Rashid Shaheed. Or maybe even they do a little end-around run with Rashid Shaheed and fake that, give it to Kenneth Walker up the middle. There's a lot of different ways the Seattle Seahawks offense can score. That's not even mentioning the name of Cooper Kupp, who's probably going to be open on a 5-yard little in route. I love the ability and the versatility that this offense has in Seattle. I don't think the Patriots have seen an offense quite like Seattle's yet this run. Now, mind you, the Chargers, I think, could have been there. I think the Chargers could have been there if they were fully healthy with their offensive line. I don't think C.J. Stroud has ever led an offense as good as the Seattle one. And at the same time, we know Jarrett Stidham and what he did in that AFC Championship game, especially when the snow picked up. Nowhere near the offensive skill sets that the Seattle Seahawks team has. So mind you, while this Patriots defense has had technically historic defense in this playoff run, throughout its 3 games, only allowing teams to, I believe it was, 16 points and under through the 3 games, this game's going to be a little different. I expect the Patriots to allow the most points they've allowed in this playoff run to the Seattle Seahawks, whether it's 20-plus or it's 25-plus. I do think Seattle's going to end up finding ways to score, especially in the warmer weather in San Francisco Stadium, which they hate playing in already. As for the Patriots, I'm worried about their run game. I know Ryan yesterday was talking on stream that he loves Ramondre Stevenson's line set at 51.5 rushing yards and then 80.5 rushing plus receiving. I don't know if I can get behind that. I think the big-time runs in this game are going to have to be the explosive runs from a guy like TreVeyon Henderson or read options to Drake May. I think just trying to give Ramondre Stevenson base-level ISO runs or stretch runs, I don't think that's going to work as well against the Seattle Seahawks run defense. Specifically, I look at that interior offensive line, mentioning the name of Byron Murphy again, who's been arguably the best run stopper all season long at that defensive tackle position. A guy like Derek Hall, Leonard Williams, these guys are big dudes. I have not seen I think that the Patriots have done a very good job of running the football, specifically against the Denver defense. I thought they did a great job late in that game designing the runs to get 3 to 4 yards on first down, 3 yards on second down, and continuing that rotation as it goes. But I look at the Seattle team and I think to myself, is this the team that you really believe you're going to try and run the ball against? Which makes me worried that it's going to turn into Drake May versus the Seahawks secondary. And I don't know if either way this Patriots team is really going to find success. I do like their wide receivers. They always play with a very big chip on their shoulder. A guy like Stephon Diggs is probably going to have a couple cool moments in this game, a couple crazy catches on Devin Witherspoon over the middle where 3rd and 7, he shouldn't have hung onto the ball, and somehow Diggs got a 15-yard gain out of it. Mac Hollins might break one open on the right side and just a nice little crossing route over the middle. But I think that the run scheme is going to be the biggest thing to watch for in this game. Kenneth Walker against that front line of the Patriots, and Ramondre Stevenson, and specifically TreVeyon Henderson against that front line in Seattle. I really think they're going to try and run the ball early on with Ramondre, and it's going to be unsuccessful. And I wouldn't be surprised to watch TreVeyon Henderson break a good 35, 40-yard run in the second half of this game when they need something explosive to happen, when they probably only have 7 to 10 points scored. We do also have to talk about, though, the defensive identity that came in with the first-year coach. I mean, Mike Vrabel came over from Tennessee, technically took a year off of football, so did not come from Tennessee but directly, but took a year off, came back from Tennessee, lastly coaching there. And in his first year, leads them from a 4-win team to a 14-win team. And that really has to do with culture, trust, leadership, and everything that Mike Vrabel really encompasses as a head coach. Stephon Diggs came out and said that this is the best coach he's ever played for. I haven't heard any complaints, even from guys in Tennessee, about Mike Vrabel as a coach. Everyone tends to like him. Obviously, Robert Kraft likes him. Obviously, Drake May likes him. You know, they have the coach of the year, but don't forget they also have the coordinator of the year in Josh McDaniels, who's been to this game before many, many times as an offensive coordinator, whether it was coaching Tom Brady. I mean, actually, technically only coached Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, but he's been around coaching the Raiders, coaching a couple other places. But McDaniels has been here before. If you were to tell me this game's going to come down to 1 point, I think I would lean the Patriots' way. If you told me this game is going to be a 2-score game, I think I would lean the Seahawks' way. I am very interested to see how that Seattle offense plays specifically in the first quarter, if they can get an offensive rhythm going early on. I think Seattle's going to be hard to stop all day, similarly to the Rams game, where then the Rams are going to have to come back, like the Patriots will have to come back like the Rams did. And I think Seattle's defense is too good to allow a fourth quarter comeback from Drake May. Yet, if Drake May could get a big offensive play going early on and force Sam Darnold to have to come back, I think that's where the pressure could creep up on a guy like Sam Darnold and force him to make a big mistake late in this game. But I do believe JSN's going to catch a big touchdown in this one. I do think Kenneth Walker's getting in the end zone. I've been trying to figure out who I like on the Patriots. I am putting in a parlay for Hunter Henry and A.J. Barner combined, my tight end combined parlay. We got Eli predicting a Christian Gonzalez interception. I wouldn't even hate to predict a fumble recovery return for a touchdown in this game. I cannot wait to see the special teams coaching in this game as well. Between Rashid Shaheed being the best returner in football right now and Marcus Jones probably being the second. We saw the big special teams play happen on Xavier Smith in the Rams game, which really defined that Seahawks-Rams. I don't know who it's going to be, who's going to fumble. I can guarantee you there's going to be 1 or 2 punch-outs from Milton Williams or Leonard Williams making a big punch down the gut. Whether it's going to be Ramondre Stevenson that continues his trend of fumbling. TreVeyon Henderson had a couple bad ones this year. Kenneth Walker maybe getting too much of a workload, or George Lonnie comes in and they feed him on an underneath passing yard and he gets smacked by Chason or Gonzo. I don't know. I believe there's going to be 2 turnovers in this game, just trying to figure out how it's going to happen. If I had to give my prediction, I believe I'm going 27-20 Seahawks over the Patriots. Which technically I think, Biker, I saw you give your prediction on Seahawks and the under. I believe the over-under is set at, 46.5? If I go to betting here. Over-under is 45.5. So technically I'm predicting only 1.5 points over that. I don't hate anyone saying the under. I just have a feeling that late in this game it's going to turn in. We're going to see back-to-back really exciting drives from Drake May and Sam Darnold. Both teams really trying to win this one. I just think that Seahawks defense is going to be too good late in this game to let up any big touchdowns. And I've got Seattle winning this game 27-20 over the New England Patriots. The best bet people are saying is Patriots plus 4.5. Darnold splits or start. We keep it clean. He's efficient and dangerous. But when under pressure, his completion rate drops to 50% and his yards per attempt falls to 6.4. We could see that happening too. Can't wait to see what defensive scheme Vrabel's got, how much pressure he's going to send, specifically third down pressure. I think that's going to be something, a key to watch, is that third down pressure. First and second down running success rate for the New England Patriots. Third down success rate in the passing game from Drake May to guys like Stephon Diggs or Hunter Henry. And a special teams play. What is going to be the difference maker this Super Bowl this year? And is it just going to come down to straight up Sam Darnold versus Drake May? I really hope so. I think the Seahawks team has just been too dominant all year for me to go against them. But at the same time, it is the Super Bowl. It starts 0-0 and plays for 60 minutes. We got to see who ends up with the ball at the end and the ending winning score. What an incredible Super Bowl this is to capitalize our 25-26 NFL season that had so many different, so much random stuff happened all year. Who would have predicted, George Pickens to have the season he had? Who would have predicted the Micah Parsons to the Packers thing right before that all happened? Cam Scatabo and Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, Shador Sanders playing the second half of the year, the Aaron Rodgers experiment, the Ravens, Chiefs, and Bengals all not making the playoffs. Josh Allen possibly having his season ended by a missed call from the refs. Man, what an incredible NFL season it was. Cannot wait to capitalize it with Seahawks Patriots. I will be rooting for Seattle, but I could see it very much going either way in a close one. Tomorrow, 6:30 p.m., Super Bowl. Let's go.